Welcome to Aging Flipped, where it's all about empowering women in their grandmotherhood years. Whether you're already a grandmother, hope to one day be a grandmother, or soon to be a grandmother, empowering you to overcome challenges and live your best life. My hope is by being here listening to this podcast, you leave more inspired and filled with the possibilities for this season of your life. I'm Debbie Talbert, your host. I'm a wife, a mom to 4 adults, a grandmother to 5, a retired flight attendant turned professional life coach. If you are here to grow, I can help you. Let's go. Welcome everyone back to the Aging Flip podcast. This is an episode and an experience that I have been working on and thinking about and processing for a while now. And so today kicks off the very first one that I've been wanting to do. And it's a series that I'm going to be bringing into the whole podcast experience around talking with and interviewing and having conversations with other entrepreneurial grandmothers and those ambitious grandmothers who are deciding on purpose that they want to be an example of what's possible regardless of your age. And these grandmothers happen to be choosing the entrepreneurial journey. This is the very first episode of it. And I have an amazing friend, Sue. She's also a fellow coach. And she and I together are going to be talking about, oh, wait, we actually are entrepreneurial grandmothers. I remember the exact point when Sue actually said, wait, I am ambitious. Wait, I am an entrepreneur. I just never called it that. I thought that was fascinating. That would be the perfect topic of conversation for our very first episode along the entrepreneurial grandmother journey. And this is today's episode. I do want to introduce Sue. She's been in a mastermind with me for nearly 2 years. And as we were preparing for this episode, her own personal aha moment that solidified the perfect conversation to have. We actually are ambitious. We actually are entrepreneurial. And P.S. on the side there, we are grandmothers. Let's go back to when you first started pursuing and creating things out of your own internal drive. Even if you didn't recognize that it was ambition, where do you think that might have come from for you?
Thanks, Debbie. First of all, I just want to say I'm really excited to be here doing this with you. It's such an exciting topic. You know, when I think back to my earlier adulthood and early motherhood, I had quite a lot of ambition, actually. And I was forever trying to do things to be the best mom I could be and to be the best person I could be. And I was taking a lot of courses, always trying new things. Yeah, I had a real desire for learning. And I never recognized that as ambition, well, until recently. But when I look back now, I see that I was quite driven and ambitious and goal-oriented. Now, following through on some of that was sometimes challenging for me, but I had the drive and the ambition to do it, even before I knew how to label it.
It is very much the similar thing for me. I remember the very first time someone said to me, yeah, but based on everything you just said, you are a high-achieving, ambitious person. And I was kind of like, what are you talking about? I've never described myself as high-achieving of anything. But yet ambitious, I could jump on board with ambitious. But as far as that word and the terminology of myself high achieving, that was not something I related to. And I love how you tied it to in your motherhood and when you first became a mom, and then as your kids are growing and really looking at your continued drive and your continuing desire for learning, and then even having your own aha moment around, oh, I have always been ambitious. So when you realized, oh, I have always been ambitious, what did that open up for you? Just a realization that it is true. I've always been like that.
Well, a couple things actually was a relief that and a celebration that I am that thing which I thought I couldn't be, that was for other people, not for people like me, whatever that meant. But that's how it felt. So it was a bit of a celebration. Oh, wow, that is me. And then there's a little bit of fear, like, oh, does that mean I have to be something more than I am? So then leaning into that a little bit and getting a little bit curious of, so if I own the word ambitious, does that mean I have to do something other than what I'm doing? Then the other realization and aha and joyous celebration is no. Ambition can mean whatever it means to me. And I can display it, work with it however it works for me. And so that takes that pressure off too. No, it doesn't have to be. Maybe what I thought of ambitious was a CEO of a large corporation. I thought, yeah, and I'm like, well, I'm not that. So, but I don't have to be that. I can just be
Yeah.
me and lean into my own ambition. And so it went a little bit of a full circle there when I realized it.
Oh, I love that explanation. And but that also gives some great insight to as what some of our listeners may be having some aha moments around. And the first realization of, oh, wait, I am ambitious, but then also the brain coming in and doing what the brain does and sending you little signals about, but we don't want to be that because that's scary. And
Yeah.
let's not do that, and let's not classify ourselves as ambitious, because ambitious is tied to stay CEO. And
Yes.
I don't, and maybe that's bigger goal, bigger ambition than what you want to actually be thinking about at this point. Or maybe not, and letting yourself get curious about, well, wait, what is CEO? How am I actually already a
Yeah.
CEO?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's,
really kind of thinking about how are you actually, or even in motherhood, how were you already a CEO, even if you weren't a CEO of a corporation?
yeah. Yeah. I think the strengths that I had back then was my willingness to continue to learn and to have a humility that I didn't know all the answers and that I could learn from others around me. I could learn from my own trials and errors. I could learn from the kids. And so I think a successful, ambitious person,
Mm.
CEO or mother, is not boxed into thinking that the answers are all there or they have or I have all the answers. So I think, yeah, that was key.
Well, I think that as you were describing that, and as the question came to me, I went and did a search, like, what is the definition of CEO?
Hmm.
Because I want to figure out how can we tie it to motherhood and even grandmotherhood, and
Yeah.
letting yourself be like the monarch and the director and the guider as the grandmother. And so it's really the job of a CEO is to set the direction. So you do that as mom. You set the
Yes.
direction, whether it's the direction of the day with the kids or the direction of the family or the direction of the week, right? You also make key decisions, and you're making key decisions all day long as you're
Yeah.
directing and guiding these little people and helping them grow through the phases of their life. And then you're also, and now in this, tying it to business is ensure the business grows and runs effectively. And as moms, we're ensuring that the family grows if you want it to grow, or at the very least, it's running effectively.
And growing within. So we're not stagnating and that we're expanding our minds, learning and growing.
In how we're growing and thinking and expanding our own minds, right?
Yes.
And so,
Yeah.
really thinking about it as mothers, whether we actually have that official title within our, if we have a job outside the home, even if we don't have that official title in our job, we are actually the chief executive officer, one, of our own self, and then two is of the people that we're raising, and then even of the design and the flow of the family.
It's so true. Yeah. And I think we underrate typically, or I suppose I should talk for myself. I underrated my own role and my own power and my own influence. And I think that was one of the epiphany moments of recognizing ambition was recognizing the power and the control that I have. And with that power and control, there's also a lot of freedom of letting go of the power and control, because that is powerful too, is to not hold things tightly. And so I'm not sure if that makes sense to you, but by recognizing my power, the need to control things is less. And that applies to motherhood, grandmotherhood, and entrepreneurial work as well.
Right, it does, definitely does, because you're really recognizing what are the parts within my control, and then what these things that are within my control, where can I create my freedom within
Yeah.
that? And really letting go of the parts that aren't in our control. That's what gives us the true freedom.
Yes.
And
Yes.
just separating that out and recognizing that, and that's the key. And I think that's one of the biggest skills that we actually each have as coaches for people, and helping them think about their thinking, and helping them the self-awareness, like really diving into, because I know you're big on the self-awareness, and
Yes.
really understanding and having the self-awareness. That's the key around what lets you create the freedom within your whole entire life, and the freedom to open yourself up to even thinking about, okay, so what is next for me, what is possible for me if I drop that aging narrative that we've all been taught around. And so with leading into that, what did you used to believe about what was possible for you as you got older?
Yeah, I think I had this minded idea that as you age comes stagnation, and and your world gets smaller, and your joy maybe gets smaller, everything gets smaller. And instead, what I'm embracing and what I've come to realize is there, instead of stagnation, it's the being generative, regenerating and being alive. And yeah, so that is what is exciting. And what that means is change is possible. And so at any stage. And so just because our numbers go up doesn't mean that that stops. And in fact, I've found that there's even more room for change as I age and as I reach these different levels in life, from motherhood to grandmotherhood. There's more areas for change because I know myself better. I trust myself more. I'm more willing, and I just know it's all going to be okay. So I'm more willing to embrace change. And the other big thing is because I've learned a lot about self-awareness. And for me, by being self-aware, then I'm continually learning about myself, how I interact with the world and put myself out there, and therefore receive things back. And that's been life-changing for me to hone those skills.
Oh, I love that for you, Sue, because that self-awareness has, it sounds like it's totally opened up a whole world of possibility for you.
It totally has, yeah.
And it's because my husband and I were talking about, because he's 74 and I'm 68. And so we were having this conversation around when we were in our 40s, we used to believe from a person that was 40 that there was no way we would be doing the things that we're doing now at 68 and 74.
Wow.
And what we didn't really, and I think a big part of that was coming from what we were telling ourselves about what it meant to age, and about what life was going to be like as we were aging. And a big part of that comes from the messaging that we receive around aging. And so
Yeah.
now our stories and our beliefs and our thoughts are all around aging is a privilege. And we're excited to age. And very much like what you're describing, we do have that freedom, and we do have that sense of adventure. And we do have, and also becoming grandparents with this newer mindset of, I wonder what's possible for us. Then, as we're watching our grandkids and they're growing and they are exploring what's possible for them, we actually get more curious about, oh, I wonder how we could use their same mindset and their same curiosity and their same desire and their same drive and their same excitement about, oh, what's going to happen tomorrow? How can we bring that into our own life?
Yes, I love that. And I agree 100%. There's, you know, the beauty of having children is that time to learn and grow with them. And then you get grandchildren. And it's just the second chance and this like doubled experience. And yeah, there's more time to notice their beautiful wisdom about joy and play and getting the most out of life. And yeah, I love that, Debbie, because I do the same thing, just watching them saying that they know what they're doing there, and I want more of that. And how can I
Yeah,
be that? Yes. Yeah.
exactly. And so with that, bring that takes us right into the next segue around possibilities in our grandmotherhood years, right? And
Yes.
so what are you currently pursuing now or creating now that would have surprised your younger self?
This whole entrepreneurial coaching business would have never dreamed that this would be a passion of mine and a love that I've really allowed myself to pursue and lean into. Yeah, coaching people around habit change and changing their relationship with alcohol specifically, which of course leads to other things because that's often just the beginning of the journey. Yeah, I would have never believed that I would have my own business, being a coach, helping people, standing alongside people through their journey. And I would have never believed that I could have enjoyed it so much. Yeah, the joy is really surprising to me, but so lovely.
Yeah, yeah, you can see it on your face and the smile as you're thinking about it, because I can see in your mind how as you're talking about it, how you're reflecting on that, and then your smile is getting bigger and bigger. And you can
Right.
see, yeah, and so you can feel the joy or experience it and like see the whole joy in your whole body. And so,
Yeah.
what would you want other women that are in their 50s and 60s and beyond to know about dreaming again?
Mm. I would want them to know it's possible and to be aware of your own limitations, your own glass ceilings, and to know that you can easily push through that. It's okay to get help. You want to get help in guidance. I know wouldn't be where I'm at if I hadn't leaned on other people and other communities, coaching communities, masterminds such as yours, to learn from other women who are going through the same thing, and men as well. So I would, yeah, that change is possible. That's really what I want them to know.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. And so that, because I didn't know you kind of leaned into that self awareness. So, because I know you're really big on it, especially when you're helping people around changing their relationship with alcohol, you use a lot of self awareness. So,
Yeah.
how would this self awareness help someone in their 50s and 60s and beyond dream again?
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is that self-awareness helps you lean into your own authenticity and helps you define what is important to you and what you value. And when you sort of define that, then you can start to act out of that. And then when you're in alignment, then, there's so many possibilities. And one of the ways that it's possible to, you know, be self-aware is by looking at your perceptions of things. So if I see something and I have an immediate opinion or perception about that, self-awareness for me is by being able to take a micro step back and say, oh, what else might be possible? What other circumstances besides my one perception? So if we can start looking at our own perceptions, and then we can start to change how we see things. And then from there, you can plot how you want to act and behave and have, again, some control in your own destiny by changing your perceptions.
Oh, that's awesome. And so it sounds to me like it's almost like when you're at the dark restaurant and you have to get out your reader glasses so you can see the menu, right? And so putting on those reader glasses helps you change, changes your perception by changing what it is you're looking at and changing how you're seeing. So
Yeah.
just like the reader glasses give you the clarity and clear up the text and the copy on the menu, this self-awareness and bringing in perception and getting curious and stepping back is also going to help you bring in that clarity
Yes.
around what do I actually want now at this season of my life? And
Right.
even and when you want to bring that in and that self-awareness even, okay, how has, even as you're listening to this conversation, give yourself the gift of thinking about your own life and how in my motherhood was I ambitious? How in my motherhood did I have to change my perceptions along the way? And how did that give me self-awareness and what was different for me when I did that? And then, if those of you that happen to be grandmothers, how has watching my grandchild grow and discover their own world, how has that actually changed my own perception of certain things? And really
Yeah.
opening yourself up to the whole thing.
Yeah.
So this has been amazing first entrepreneurial grandmother episode, like tying in the grandmotherhood, the motherhood, the grandmotherhood, and the ambition around the whole thing. How can people reach you, and what are you working on right now?
Yeah, right now I'm doing mostly one-on-one coaching. I can be found on my website, which is stoutconnectionscoaching.com, and on Instagram and Facebook. And yeah, I have free discovery calls, and I'd love to connect if people are interested.
Okay, awesome, Sue. And I will, for those of you, whether you're listening or watching on YouTube, I will have in the notes section links to all of Sue's resources. And so really, as you're listening and you're realizing, and we gave you some, maybe your own aha moments, I do want to encourage you to reach out and connect with either one of us. And especially if alcohol is something that's getting in your way of being the kind of person that you want to be now, I really want to encourage you to reach out to Sue because she's really good at helping you untangle all that. And as always, I want you to remember that you have always been ambitious and it's not too late. This is the exact right time for you to pursue what it is that you would like to pursue. And Sue, is there anything you want to wrap up with?
Oh, no, just what a pleasure it is to spend time with you, Debbie. And yeah, change is possible, and it's lovely.
Right, awesome, Sue. Thanks for joining and being the first entrepreneurial grandmother in this new thing I'm putting out in the world.
What an honor.
Thank you for spending time with me today. If today's episode stirred something in you, if you've been circling your own someday desire, it's time to bring it out of that long-term parking lot and back into your view. Join me inside the playground. This is the community where grandmothers, current, soon to be, or someday hope to be, are building strength, self-trust, and a future you're excited to live. Tap on the link in the show notes or head over to Aging. You get all the details over there. I just want you to know this is the exact right time for you. I'll see you next time.